Hello everyone, how's everybody doing out there today? Hope everyone's okay, and let me tell you, I've been doing a lot of work on this glider. As you can see, laying over there are parts over there, and I have basically finished printing everything out. And now I have started putting things together, and that's what I'm going to talk about tonight, is really how easy this plane is to put together. And first of all, I just want to start off with this part right here. I'm going to show you. This is the wing tip, okay? And this here is the mating part of the wingtip, and it uses, let me see if you can see it here. Let me get just a second. Let's see here for a second. I'm just trying to, there you can see it. You see that little, right here, that little tip? That is a 1.2 millimeter carbon fiber rod. And they go in, I'm going to show you. I've cut a bunch of them up here, and I actually cut them a little bit too long. But there you see one of them there, and the other one is over here. Okay? And in here you have holes. So the first thing you have to do on these here, when you're gonna build this, okay, is I'm gonna take these out for right now. Okay, and what I've been using, and it works really well, is 100 grit emery cloth. And that's all you do is go over the mating edges, okay? Just go over the mating edges like that. And the same thing with the other half. You want to rough it up so that the super glue bites good on it, okay? So then what I do is I just put my, let me see here, there's one, I have to clip that one off a little bit because I made them a little bit too long. So there we go. There we go. There's one. And the other one is here. And let me see, the hole is right here. And it goes in there. And I got to clip this one off a little bit too. There. So now I have, you can see both pins are there, okay? So then I get my super glue out, and I've been using Loctite brand because I'm going to tell you, with these squeeze sides on them, it seems like it doesn't clog up. But I think this one here is empty. So, no problem. We got a brand new one here. Just got to tear it open, and we'll be ready to go. But, you know, as I was saying, this glider has really impressed me as far as the construction, the building, everything about it. Really, really. It goes together so easy. Wait till I show you the fuselage. All right, let's see here. Just a second. There we go. Now, okay, so we just put it around the edges here. And this edge here. So, now I got super glue on both of them, on both edges. And now, that's all I'm going to do is I'm going to attach my wing panel. And that's all I do is hold it together for a while until I know that it's bitten. Be the good word for it. And I just run my finger along the bottom there and wipe it off on the bottom of the table. There we go. One wing panel glued. That's how easy it is, really. And I mean, look at that. Look at the lines on that thing. Gorgeous, really. All right. So that is one wing panel finished. But now, let's see here. Just a second. Let me set this up here. There we go. I'm going to show you something really cool. All right. Let me just change over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this bad boy. Now, you can start seeing this is all put together here. I have put all this together, and I'm going to show you guys some. I'm going to talk about this just a little bit before I go any further. On this model, okay, there's 4 different profiles to use when you're printing out. There's one that's in surface mode, profile number 3. That's the one that's used for printing out all the wing parts, the tail parts and everything, and the fuselage actually. Now, in the build, they also have you print out the hinges in TPU, okay? And in TPU, with printing out with TPU is very pliable. It's like Tupperware kind of type stuff, you know? And that's what you print the hinges out in. Now, myself, let me put it this way. You're only going to be printing out, let me find it here. You're only going to be printing out about this much. Not much more, really. So, I did not feel that, put the top on the glue so it don't dry out. I didn't feel like it was worth buying a whole roll of ABS, the TPU, because for printing out a little bit, I mean, it's less than probably, I'd say less than a foot that you would use on it. So, what I did was, I went in my workshop, and like I've mentioned before, I've been in the model airplane hobby since I was 8 years old. My dad turned me on to it, and my dad lived for model airplanes. So, and I inherited everything of his when he passed away. So, I went in the workshop and scrounging through all of my little drawers and nooks and crannies, and I found hinge, model airplane hinge material. And this is TPU. This is TPU. Let me change over here. Let's see here. There. Now this TPU, you see here, it's 4 hinges. And this right here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've used 2 of them. 2 of them on this plane here. And the ones on this plane here are not required to be so wide. So I was actually able to split one of them and use it for 2. Now these here, if you go to somewhere like, I'm just trying to think, Tower Hobbies? Try that. Radio Control Model Airplane Store, online, whatever, and just search for hinge material. Now there are several different kinds of hinges that you could also use, believe it or not. And these here, these are actually pinned. These are pinned and there's a joint in there. And what you do is you just drill holes, fill them with glue, stick these in, and you got your hinge, okay? But these here were the easiest. These are direct replacement for the parts that they want you to print out. Okay? Alright. So, I'm going to get back over to the big screen here, and I'm going to show you some more about the fuselage. Now, putting this thing together, I'll tell you, it's been so easy. I just put a piece of tape on here to hold this last piece in place because it's not glued or anything. And I don't want to glue it in yet because I have things that I have to glue inside and stuff like that. But I want to show you really how easy it is to put this thing together. And I started with the tail section, the small tail section. And you have 3 1.2 millimeter carbon fiber rods. And they go all the way from the back. And they go, there's channels in all of the parts here. And those 3 carbon fiber rods, they go all the way through. And if you can, it's kind of hard. Let me see if I can show you on the other camera here. Just a second. Let me see here. I'm trying to find, there we go. I don't know if you can build, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. No, it doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like we can see it. But what it is, there are, in the print, there's actually a slot that's kind of open that follows all of the 3 carbon fiber rods. Right here there's a kind of like an opening, and here there's an opening, and then it follows along here, and it follows along this piece, and it's for all 3 of them. And what you do is, after you've slid your piece, your first piece that's going to go onto your tail, you line up all the 3 rods in the holes, slide it down, and when it comes down right in this area here, this is going to be a perfect fit. I mean, there's absolutely, it's not out anywhere. I mean, it is completely, because I'm going to show you. Here's what I'm talking about. Now, here's the 3 carbon fiber rods that it's hanging on. Okay? And now I can show you a little bit better with, let's see, there we go. And then there you can see the 3 carbon fiber rods. Right there. And once you thread it on, guess what? Perfect fit. Perfect. That's all I have to do is clean this face up with that 100 emery cloth. Clean this face up. Put my glue on, slap it together, and hold it. And it is perfect. Perfect. Really. It's that. I mean, I'm going to tell you, to be honest with you, to be totally honest with you, I was intimidated. I was intimidated by 3D build, because the one thing was that I had gone on to the different 3D build websites. Oh my God. And I started seeing a lot that scared me. And I mean, it's, there are a couple hurdles you have to get over. And the one hurdle is your machine and the profiles. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you here real quick. All right? Now let's see how that looks. And when you look here, all of these parts here, all of these here, I mean, and a lot of them, they look like trash inside. Stringy. This is basically what I started out with. And 5 days of adjusting. And then finally I got to print out a few that I thought started to look okay, and did a little bit more tweaking, and I ended up with all the parts that you see over there. Okay, so, alright, so as I was saying, all the parts, once you get probably the hardest profile to tweak in, and that's the one that's used for everything. And that is the profile number 3. Okay? That's the surface mode one. And once you get that surface mode locked in on your printer. Now I'm going to tell you, with my focus printer, that one there, the focus printer, I'm going to tell you what, once I got that number 3 profile dialed in, I printed out every part on this airplane that required the profile 3, and that's all the wing parts, the fuselage parts, the tail parts, and then you have to print out all the hardware. These are like servo trays, okay? These here are for the front end, because there's obviously two models. There's 2 models of these gliders. One is without an engine and one is with an engine. And like these here, these are printed out a regular PLA, and they go in the wing. And what they are wing snaps. You just put that wing in, and it snaps in place. And that's it. And it's to be taken apart, so that when you're going to go home, you don't have to mess with a over 6 foot wing in your car. I mean, I'm telling you, I've broken wings like that. And it happens really quick. Okay? It does happen really quick. So, these are the clips that have to be glued into the wings as I start building them out. So, talking about the fuselage, like I said, I can't glue everything together now because I have other parts that have to go in first. And like I said, this plane here was a screw up from the word go, because I got the wrong information, and I was told that PLA Plus was the same as LW PLA, which it's not. Now, I'm going to show you guys some, the building manual, okay? And I'm going to back up here a little bit. There we go. Now, I don't know if you can see it here, but this first thing right here, it says, on the top here, it says material, lightweight PLA, and it says 69 grams, and a star there. Now, the star actually means that it's telling you down here that this weight here, the 60 grams, is what Cura says you're going to use of material. Okay? So in other words, if you were printing regular PLA or lightweight PLA, whatever, and you were printing it in a regular mode, not surface mode, and not using lightweight PLA, then you would probably use around 69 grams of filament. But what happens here is the lightweight PLA. And I'm just going to bring it back here for a second. And the lightweight PLA, what it does is the difference between lightweight PLA and PLA plus or regular PLA filaments. What it does is when you heat it up to 235 degrees or so, or something like that, okay, then what happens is when it comes out of the extruder, it actually expands. Okay? So with that expansion, what you do is you cut back. You cut back on your flow rate. Normally the flow rate is 100%, okay? On this one, on these prints here, you cut your flow rate back to 60%. Okay? Now what that does is you're only using 60% instead of 100%. All right? And by using 60%, well, guess what? That 69 grams that I just showed you right here, the 69 grams, is now take 60% of that. So you're down to about 40 grams. Okay? And that is the difference between the lightweight PLA and the full PLA. Okay, and here's they're showing the motor, and they even recommend which motors and everything that fit right onto the parts that you print out. Okay, and here you see the construction of everything, and you'll see here that these are where those clips go. So actually, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, and the tip. You're going to have one more panel. You're going to have one more panel besides this. One more panel, and that you can be able to take it off. Okay? So, let's go back to the manual here. And on the nose part, now you see here they're showing this above here, on the airplane. They're showing the above part, and let me see if I can, no I can't. I just thought maybe I was able to show my mouse here, but I can't. But as you see, above here, above the airplane, you see these wing panels, which are the innermost wing panels, and these are the optional wing panels with the slats. These are the brakes. Because when this thing starts picking up speed, you want to slow it down. So these slats come straight up, and they're like brakes. right? So I can show you, actually I can show you one of them. And this is the wing panel here. And I have some cutting out to do here. We'll get a little bit better shot of it here for you. So I have to cut some of this out. Okay, and the slat fits right in like that. Perfect fit. And when you're flying and you want to slow it down, the slat comes right up like that. Okay, and then it folds back down. It's just a brake. That's all it is your brakes. Okay, so I just have a little bit of cutting and tweaking, and I have hardware to put in on these, and there's hardware that has to go on the wing, and there's all kinds of little parts. Okay, but yeah. So back to the building manual. There you have the full aircraft. And here you see how the wings, now the wings have a carbon fiber rod going through the first 4 sections of the wing. Okay? And this carbon fiber rod is 1 meter long. It's half a meter on each side. And that's what really stabilizes the whole wing altogether as a unit. But you can see here that in these wing panels you see all these little pins for lining up, guide pins, okay? And here's the rest of the wing tip. And like I said, I have one more panel to put on. I have one more panel to put on this one here, and then the rest of the wing is going to have carbon fiber rod. The next panel that I put on is going to have the clip. Okay? So, let me see here. They're talking about the building materials. And here, where you see how you start with your tail, and you put the 3 carbon fiber rods in. And here you can see what it looks like when you start putting the units on. And this is what I was talking about. I have the servo tray to slide in there, and then I have the the wing mounts to mount in there. Excuse me. So everything goes together. I'll tell you, I mean, it goes together like a glove. Everything fits. So I'm just going to click here, because like I was saying, here's the motor, and they're giving you specifications up at the top there, what motors to use and everything, and even which folding propeller to use. That was a 7.5, I think it says. I can't read it. It's too small for me to read, but all this information is on their website. Okay, so this is some more of the materials you're going to need. You're going to need the 6mm carbon fiber rod, which is 1 meter wall, so you have 4mm inner diameter. You need these interconnect connections. These screw into your on the tail section. You have the horns. Let me see here. I have to find one of them for you and show you. I mean, I'll tell you, they're really small. Just a second. Here we go. I have to find it in my... Like I said, they're really small. And that connector, actually your push rod goes into here, okay? And this is glued onto your tail, the tail section. And it's going to be moving. It's going to be moving your tail section. And those connectors that I showed you, let me see here, these connectors here go on, you can mount these on your servo, servo arm, and then you just put your linkage through the hole and tighten up the screw. So you adjust, really easy adjusting. Okay, and they tell you everything here you need to have for your build. And here they're talking about and it shows the build for, I mean, all the parts. Now this here is parts here for the slats. Okay, and here's those TPU, and the A95 is what kind of TPU it is, which is very pliable. Okay, and like I said, it's a lot cheaper. It is a lot cheaper to go and buy something like this. I'll bet you these here probably cost $1.50, max $3, instead of having to pay $30-40 for a roll of TPU filament. Okay, these are already made, easy. Keep it simple and cheap. But like I said, go back here to the building materials, and they show you how everything is printed, how it should come out, everything. And it even tells you on some of them where to change the seam to, so that the seam is hidden all the time. Okay? And you see here, let's see if this comes up here, and there we go, skip that ad. There we go. Now this is the glider. I mean, and if you live by a big hill or something like that, or the sand dunes, oh my God. Let me tell you what, you can have a ball. If you're up on the side of a mountain, and the thing is that on the side of a mountain, that wind is coming up and it's a constant updrift. Okay? And it is just like a elevator in the sky. Here they're showing you the snap locks for the wings. And I mean that thing, watch this guy flying it here. I mean, he's gonna start looping it here. There's one loop right there. And there's another one. And I'll tell you, I mean, and if you think the plane is starting to get too low, you bring it over close to the edge of the hill and catch that updraft and take it right back up again. So I mean, it is, you can literally, with these here, if you know how to fly a glider and you know how to take advantage of the thermals, you can literally fly all day. Okay? You can literally fly all day, really. This glider is not as fast as normal gliders. A lot of gliders, you'll see them, they'll have flat wings, and they are super fast. And this glider here is more docile. I mean, you can see it in the flying. But yet again, you can really put it through its paces. And let me see here. What do we have here? Yeah, these were all now this is the manual that comes with, that you download. And this is what I was talking about right here. This is the upgrade with a new nose, a different nose, because it's a little bit bigger for the motor. And these are the wing panels and for the slats, okay? And here's the glider itself. Here, look at here. Here's a good, you can see how the internal ribbing is done. And I'm going to tell you something. Last week on my video here, I took this old piece. This was one of my test pieces, okay? And this one was printed at 235 degrees. And what happened was I was getting a little bit of waviness in the skin. So I went down 5 degrees and I got it. It looks really good. All right. So I took this, and first of all I took it this way because this is the way the wing lifts. Okay, I mean it's going to lift. And I put my fingers underneath where the rib is here, like this. And even now, I can't break it. There's no way. The only way I was able to break this wing was put it sideways, and I used everything I had, and finally it crushed. But that wing, look at that, it pops right back in place. I mean, it is hard. And if you think that skin, watch. That's how hard I have to hit it to make a hole in it. Really. I can pound on it like all day and nothing happens. There, didn't do nothing. I can't get my finger through it. Tough stuff, let me tell you. Very, very tough stuff. And I'm really looking forward to trying this glider. I can tell you right now that, you know, you see all this parts, all the parts over here and over there. And as soon as I get this plane put together, I'll be able to take a full weight of it, okay? And it says in the building information, it tells you how much the glider is supposed to weigh when it's finished with a motor, and how much it's supposed to weigh when it's finished without a motor. Now, I saw something really cool. Really cool here the other day. Somebody posted the same glider. I saw a post where these gliders, okay, these gliders have such a long tail, and they're heavy. The tails are heavy, okay, and the wings go right here. All right, so the wings go right here. All your radio equipment and batteries and everything are going to go there, and then you have the nose cone that comes off of here, okay? Now, in the regular glider mode, you have underneath here, you have clips, or not clips, but a catch that's mounted on here like this. And what happens is kind of like, well, it'd be like that, okay? Little ones, just little ones. As a matter of fact, I have some, oh, they're in here somewhere. But the thing about it is, you can launch this glider either by hand, or you can use surgical tubing with monofilament line hooked to it, and a ring mounted to it. And you hook that ring onto the plane, and you start walking it back, where you have the surgical tubing mounted in the ground on a stake, and you start pulling that. You have the recipe for that, I believe, was 100 foot of surgical tubing and 200 foot or 300 foot of monofilament line. And when you pull that thing back, and you pull it back and back until you get the right tension on it, and you let it go at a 45-degree angle, it literally takes off like a rocket, right up. And it'll go right up, right straight up, till it gets where the line is pulling it up, and then it goes past the line and drops the hook, and it keeps going up, and then it levels out, and you fly. And if you're lucky to catch a thermal, you can stay up. Okay? What I saw the other day. Now, mind you, I told you about the tail being so heavy. Okay, it's so long, it's so heavy. Even with the nose cone in regular glider mode, no electric motor. In electric glider mode, you put that nose cone on. Guess what? You got to fill that bad boy with lead. Yeah, you really do. You have to fill a bunch of lead in there to counteract the weight. Because your center of gravity is going to be right around here, right about here somewhere. Okay, and that's about, right about there is going to be your center of gravity. And, I mean, the weight now, it'll fall right, I mean, you're going to, but the cool thing that I saw was, instead of just having the nose cone go on here, let me find the right nose cone here, just a second. All right. Now, this isn't the right nose cone because this is not the right nose. This is for the electric motor. There's two different ones. This one is different, and the nose cone. But anyways, the nose cone would go on like that on the other one. And what I saw this guy do was really, really cool. It was really smart. He put one more unit on here and made the nose longer. So you need less weight. And this part here doesn't weigh anything really, but you put the weight further forward and you're going to use less weight to get the balance correct. So that was, I am really looking into that. This one here, since it is printed in PLA+, I can tell you right now, is going to be too heavy. It is going to be too heavy. Now this one here would be good to fly where you want a heavy plane. For example, if I go out, I live in North Carolina, so if I was to go out to Kitty Hawk, out of the Outer Banks, or at the beach, go to Kitty Hawk where Wright brothers flew. Out there, I mean, they have dunes. I mean, big ones. They have, excuse me, they have hang gliding. They give hang gliding lessons out there, and you hang glide off of the dunes. Now, to take this glider out there, that even though it's overweight, it'll be perfect for dune soaring. Okay, soaring on the dunes, because you have the dunes are like this, they're up there like this, and that wind is coming up and it's going right up, and you fly here and you just get higher and higher. As long as you stay in this updrift right here, you just keep going higher and higher and higher. Really, I've seen people when I was living in Norway, I was a model of that model airplane club there, and my buddy, he was probably one of the best glider pilots I've ever seen. And he'd be flying his glider, and he'd put his transmitter down on the ground, and sit there, and he would have a cigarette or whatever, and he'd pick up his transmitter and look up and adjust a little bit, and he'd sit there and talk. I mean, really, it was, and his glider was just gliding around, basically on its own. But he had full control. I mean, obviously, but he knew what he was doing, and he could fly that thing for hours. Really, he would say, "Oh, I'm getting a little bit too low. Watch this." He'd say, "Watch this," and he would fly. He would fly, and he would watch. And as soon as his one wingtip went up, that meant that there was a thermal that caught that wingtip, okay? And that thermal will lift it up, and So what you do is, as soon as that wingtip, as soon as you push that wingtip up, then he would go right into that circle and get into that thermal. So as soon as he felt that wingtip come up, he would go right in and go right into that circle, and that it would take him right up. Just like an elevator. Really, it's a lot of fun. And you're not burning any fuel. Okay? Now the motor version, which I'm probably going to build, because it's, like I said, I'm finished printing now. And to be honest with you, today I just ordered a roll of lightweight PLA. Okay? So my printer's going to start up again, and I'm going to have a whole set of parts again. But at least now I know what I'm doing. I didn't know what I was doing when I started with this one. But I'm glad I did. Because, boy, I'll tell you, the selection of 3D printed aircraft today, man, let me tell you, there's a lot of them. There is a lot of them. Just to show you a little bit, just real quick. That plane you saw there, I built that. It was an ultralight, okay? It was an ultralight. But I piled it up. Okay? So, live and learn, live and learn. And yes, Mama's a finance minister, and Mama put a lock on the real aircraft account. No more account there. I crashed it. Okay, so no more account there. So anyways, back to the models. Like I said, I know I'm going to have a ball with these. And that's all you can, for radio equipment, I've been searching around in Amazon. I mean, you don't need anything expensive. You don't need everything with the stuff, that will make coffee for you in the morning, okay? Let me tell you, I was looking online at some of the radio equipment. Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, who would pay over $2,000 just for a transmitter? Okay? You can find for between $100 and $200, you can find a complete radio transmitter, receiver, and 4 servos. Okay? Between $100 and $200. That's all you need is a 4-channel radio. But one thing you have to make sure you have is what they call V-tail mixing. Because on that V-tail, your surfaces, okay? Your surfaces are going to move to one side or the other for turning. And then they move together, like on the tail, they would basically, they would move like this. It's better I show you. Okay? When they both come together like this, the tail's going to go down, you're going to go up. When they come out, like both of them come out, both of them come down like that, the tail's going to go up and you're going to go down. So you have to have a mixing, and that happens in the radio. So you have to have a radio. If you're going to buy a small radio or anything, just make sure that it has V-tail mixing. Okay? Because you have to have that for this model. And like I said, boy, when you go to the website, right there, and you start looking at all the models that they have there, and they're adding them on all the time. And myself, actually, now, this is something also that I found out about. It's really cool. Is you can 3D print model airplanes to look exactly like the balsa built ones, with the ribs and everything, and then you cover them. You cover them yourself with either monocoat or Oratex. I mean, there's a bunch of different covering materials. But yeah, you print out the skeleton of the plane and then you cover it yourself. And that would be super light, really. I would say that this lightweight PLA is as light as balsa wood, building a balsa wood model. Now there are, like I said, there are models. I haven't found where to order them from yet. I just heard that there you can find them. 3D printed airplanes to be covered. Okay? So the possibilities are endless. But I had to start somewhere. And by starting out with all this, let me tell you, I have learned a lot. I have really learned a lot about my printer. I've learned a lot about PLA Plus. I've learned a lot about lightweight PLA. And I've learned that the construction of this thing is super, super simple. So anybody that's been sitting on the fence here, kind of like, oh, I got a 3D printer, and yes, I've been in the model hobby my whole life, but I really didn't want to jump into such a project. It looks like a lot, but it's not. It really isn't. Because the thing is, guess what? This here is doing all the work. It's printing out everything for you. And like I said, once you get it dialed in, bang, they come out perfect. And as soon as I take one off, I already have my Cura, my slicer. As soon as I start printing, I empty the table or the on the screen. I take away the part that I'm printing. I bring in the new part, have it already ready. So as soon as the other one's finished, I hit slice, print, boom. I pop the other one off the table, and the next one starts printing. So it's really that simple. It really is. And the only work I had to do was cut the brim off. I was using a 3mm brim, and I have found that on my printer with that heated bed, parts stick so good to it that I don't really think I need to use a brim. And boy, that'll save a lot of work too. It really would. And as I said, once you get your profiles dialed in, and the profiles for the different machines are in the same place, right here. There, right there. They have the profiles too for all of the most common 3D printers. But then again, no two printers are alike. Okay? No two printers are alike. So even though you import their profile, I'll almost guarantee you'll still have to tweak your machine to get it. And these here, just a second here. These here prints here. These prints here. These are, you can even see the name on it, PlanePrint. Okay, this is a test print, and it goes through all the bells and whistles that the print needs to, that you need to get 100% before you even attempt to print anything. Like this one here, you can see it looks like garbage in there. And whenever you have garbage like that, stringy and that, and it's not really building up the wings, the ribs in there, guess what? There's nothing to hold it. So you can't have stringy garbage, even though it's inside the wing, because you lose the integrity, okay? So it's all like this part here. This is printed out in regular PLA. Oh man, I wish they had, this is what they call multicolored satin PLA, metallic satin. And it's multicolored, and it'll go through a whole spectrum of colors, you know, like you see here, basically, where it starts out here with green, and it goes over to blue, and then over to red, and it'll go back over. It'll go back over through the colors, and then go back over to green, and start the same sequence again. Man, if I could get this in lightweight PLA, oh God, it'd be gorgeous to print out that plane like this, really. This stuff is really cool. But, like I said, I was told from the beginning that my plane would be too heavy because I printed it in PLA+. But by the time I found out about it, I was somewhere between half and 3/4 of the way printing it. So I figured I'm not going to change in the middle of it or towards the end. I'll just print it all out in PLA+, because then, even though it is wrong, then I have something to weigh up and something to compare with the lightweight PLA. Oh, and I'm going to try to fly. I mean, if I find that this one here is going to be way too heavy, I don't care. I'll give it to my grandson. Let him hang it in the ceiling in his bedroom. Really, I don't care. I mean, I see this one here. I see this one here as a learning curve. Okay, and learning curves. Now I teach. And why does it say CNC right there? Okay, because that's what I teach. If you watch the other videos in my group, or I mean in my YouTube channel, you'll see that I teach these new, well, they're not new anymore, but home CNC carving, milling machines, laser engravers, and 3D printers. That's what I do. That's what I teach. And I have a group on Facebook. So, like I said, this the printing the glider is brand new for me. It has been. Now I've got my feet wet, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing. And to be honest with you, I haven't put any more of it together because I didn't want to come on here on Monday night and all of a sudden the whole darn plane is put together. You know, I mean, I told you guys I was going to show you step by step as I put it together, okay? And so I've been kind of just waiting around till I do this video, so now I can put more together. And so that's about the size of it. And I'm going to tell you, whoever's been sitting on the fence thinking that it was too much of a tackle, too much learning curve, it's not. It's not. And I'll make myself available to anybody that wants to contact me via Messenger on Facebook and talk about it. If you have run into problems, hey, I'll help you if I can. I mean, I've had to help myself, and it's been working out okay so far. But like I said, my plane is too heavy. It's going to be heavy. But I think that if I was to go with the pure glider on this, because you're eliminating the motor weight and the bigger batteries that you need for the motor. I mean, obviously, you're still going to need batteries for your receiver and servos, but you're not going to really need such a big battery as you're going to need for a motor. And I'm really, really looking into that extended nose, because with that extended nose, like I said, you bring the fulcrum point further out. It takes a lot less weight to get it down, because when it's so heavy, when you have it so short, man, you have to put so much lead in that thing to counteract the tail that it's going to be real heavy. So that's why that's what I'm going to be going with. For this one, I believe I'm going to be going with pure glider, and I would like to put on an extended nose on it, which I'm going to have to draw up somehow, or make my own, because I don't think they have those yet. But anyways, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to try. I mean, I ain't got nothing to lose except some filament. But so anyways, wanted to keep this one short too. You know, I don't want to wear you guys out with 2-hour videos or anything. And like I said, I'm glad you joined me. And let me see, I'm just have to take a look over here, see who's here. Oh, Steve Moregi. Nice to see you, man. South Sea She. How you doing, man? And Bob Holmes. Brakes. Who needs brakes? Oh, you need brakes. Let me tell you, those, you get caught up in a thermal, and you want to bring that bad boy down, it's going to be coming down fast. So you want to slow it down. Sorry you felt intimidated, Paul. You could have replied to my... Okay. So anyways, that's what this has been about, and I'm enjoying it. I really am. It's a lot of fun, and hope to see you guys building yours. And another thing is, you know, I mean, if you're building one, let me know if you are, you know, because I'd like to find somebody here around here in North Carolina to go flying it with. Somebody else that was also into the hobby. Anyways, like I said, for tonight, I'm going to end this streaming, and hope you guys have a good evening and enjoy yourselves, and we'll talk next week, same time, same channel. Have a good one. Take care. Drive carefully. Be careful. All right.